fun playing the new generation of Pokemon games, even with their quirks. Like pretty much every previous generation, the Paldea Pokédex has some creepy and strange entries in it. But these Pokédex entries are like really out there, a lot worse than I've seen from past games, so I'll be covering that today. Just to clarify, I'll only be covering new Pokemon in this video, so I won't even give Hypno the time of day. And with a whole new lineup of Pokemon, you'll have to forgive all the mispronunciations I'll be making in this video. Anyways, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Starting us off, we have Spidops, who has a pretty tame Pokédex entry, but I figure we start off light before crossing into some really bizarre territory. If you're playing the Scarlet version, Spidops' entry reads as follows. It clings to branches and ceilings using its threads, and moves without a sound. It takes out its prey before the prey even notices it. Whenever Pokemon implies death, I pause for a moment because of how out of place it is. Every Pokemon is capable of causing brutal pain and suffering, but come on, some of them are really cute. And then you have this monstrosity who's cool with taking the coward's way of killing someone, and then probably shrugging and crawling away. If you have a Spidops on your team, just back away. For this next Pokemon, I have to read both entries to get the point across. We have Arboliva. In Scarlet, its entry reads, this calm Pokemon is very compassionate. It will share its delicious, nutrient-rich oil with weakened Pokemon. And that's sweet, isn't it? Arboliva seems like such a lovely Pokemon. I wonder what the Violet entry has to say. This Pokemon drives back enemies by launching its rich, aromatic oil at them with enough force to smash a boulder. Are you serious? Where the hell did that come from? I mean, what did I even expect? The games paint a very different image of this Pokemon depending on which version you're playing. You either get a very caring and relaxed Pokemon, or a lunatic who thinks throwing oil at the speed of sound is child's play. This kind of juxtaposition is what not only makes Pokédex entries so fascinating, but also so unsettling. This next Pokemon is featured in this video solely because of the weird image it puts in my head, which I will now have to unfortunately put in yours. Gargancl or Gargancl, whatever. Its Violet Pokédex entry reads, many Pokemon gather around Gargancl, hoping to lick at its mineral-rich salt. Alright, moving on. Another very weird one, Bellibolt. Here's what its Pokédex entry has to say in Violet. What appears to be eyeballs are actually organs for discharging the electricity generated by Bellibolt's belly button dynamo. I wish that was a joke, someone actually sat down and wrote that. Both Scarlet and Violet's entries almost tells a story about our next Pokemon, Brambleghast. Starting with Scarlet, it will open the branches of its head to envelop its prey. Once it absorbs all the life energy it needs, it expels the prey and discards it. I don't think I really need to elaborate on why that's a downright terrifying and oddly specific Pokédex entry, but the Violet entry takes it up a notch. Brambleghast wanders around arid regions. On rare occasions, mass outbreaks of these Pokemon will bury an entire town. Now exactly what the Pokédex entry means by bury an entire town is open to interpretation, but just going off the Scarlet entry, I'm just assuming a bunch of Brambleghast savagely murder entire towns full of people and Pokemon, and I just mean, why, Game Freak? And you, I know you have this Pokemon on your team, you should feel ashamed. I know I said I wouldn't be covering any previous gen Pokemon in this video, but I think I can make an exception here. Toedscruel is technically a separate Pokemon from Tentacruel. Let's see what the Violet version Pokédex entry has to say, and notice the common theme of Violet entries. It coils its 10 tentacles around prey and sucks out their nutrients, causing the prey pain. The folds along the rim of its head are a popular delicacy. Alright. What's with the Paldea region being home to Pokemon that enjoy feasting upon the life energy of others? And also, it grosses me out whenever Pokemon references the fact that they can be consumed by humans. These are supposed to be fun creatures to love and nurture, but there's people out there killing and eating them. Can't say I'm surprised. Next up we have Skeledirge, the final evolution of the fire starter Fuecoco. Being a fire ghost type, I knew this entry would be strange, but it turned out to be a lot worse than I imagined. If you're playing the Violet version, you'll be greeted with the following entry. Skeledirge's gentle singing soothes the soul of all that hears it. It burns its enemies to a crisp with flames of over 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. This Pokemon sounds like it crawled straight out of hell. I really like it when Pokédex entries provide understandable numbers that explain a Pokemon's abilities, but the word choices used, along with this Pokemon being a ghost type, I don't know. If I ever saw one of these in the wild attempting to gently sing to me, I would probably curl up into the fetal position and never be seen again. Up next we have Scovillain. What's with Violet having all these disturbing Pokédex entries? The green head has turned vicious due to the spicy chemical stimulating its brain. Once it goes on a rampage, there is no stopping it. The vagueness of this entry is what creeps me out. Why can't it be stopped? What kind of danger is it capable of inflicting? If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, stay the hell away from the Paldea region. Alright, this has to be a joke. Violet version is cursed. Here's the Pokédex entry for Rabsca. An infant sleeps inside the ball. Rabsca rolls the ball soothingly with its legs to ensure the infant sleeps comfortably. What infant? A human infant? A Pokemon infant? How did this infant develop? There's so many questions and I just want to move on as quickly as possible because this is actually kind of grossing me out thinking about it. I could go on and on talking about the very weird Pokédex entries of Scarlet and Violet, but I think I've more than made my point here. If you own a copy of Violet, please consider returning it or get it blessed because you might actually be cursed. I'm gonna keep an eye out as I continue playing for creepy things, so I'll make another video on the games if I find anything interesting. But anyways, that's it for me. Thanks, and try to resist yourself from licking any mineral-rich salt.